All right, you guys. So our new topic is let me think about it. Our new topic is the discriminant. And maybe some of you guys had these amazing grade 10 teachers. You may have heard about this, but this is really something we teach here. So as a review, let's just remember that a parabola can have 2 zeros, 1 zero, or no zeros at all. We use the words zeros, roots, x-intercepts, and solutions interchangeably. So they all refer to the same thing. You're solving for x. How do we determine the number of solutions without actually drawing the parabola every single time? So remember that question in handout A where I asked you to sketch it? Let's say it was in standard form and you couldn't sketch it and you didn't want to complete the square. There is a really easy way to figure out how many times the parabola is going to go through the x-axis, and that's what we're going to learn today. So when something, I've kind of outlined the steps here so you can see how to do it. When something is in vertex form, the easiest way to figure out the number of solutions or the number of x-intercepts is just draw a sketch. And then you can see how many times it goes through the x-axis. When something is in factored form, what you can do is you can just solve for x. That'll tell you how many x-intercepts you have, and then that's it. But when something is in standard form, you can either factor it and then solve for x, or you can complete the square, change it to vertex form, and then make a sketch. Or the new thing we're going to learn today is you can use the discriminant, which is now obviously the more efficient thing that I would want you to use. So what exactly is the discriminant? It is the term, the binomial that can be found under the square root sign, not including the square root sign. So we're just going to be looking at b squared minus 4ac. And that discriminant tells you the number of solutions. How does it do this? Well, here are the things that you have to remember. If you put in values for b squared minus 4ac and the number you get is greater than 0, that means you have 2 solutions. That means there are 2 zeros or 2 x-intercepts. If you put in values into b squared minus 4ac and it equals to 0, that means you only have 1 solution or 1 x-intercept. Basically, that means the parabola is like sitting on the x-axis. And if you get b squared minus 4ac to be a negative solution, that means there are no real solutions and you have a floating parabola. There are no x-intercepts for that. Okay, we're going to use these rules to solve the questions on the next page. I didn't realize this was that funny. Just joking. But I missed the joke. I wasn't included in the joke. Okay, so question number 1, I have something in standard form, y is equal to negative 4x squared plus 12x minus 9. I could try to factor this and change it to factored form. I could complete the square and get it into vertex form, or I can use this new trick, which is the discriminant. So we're going to solve this using the discriminant, which is b squared minus 4ac. I want to note what my values are. So my a value is negative 4. My b value is 12, and my c value is negative 9. I'm going to plug that into this little discriminant equation and solve. So it's going to be 12 squared minus 4 times negative 4 times negative 9. 144. 16 times 9 is going to be 4, 5. This will be negative 144. And so my b squared minus 4ac, the discriminant equals 0. If the discriminant equals 0, do we have 1 solution, 2 solutions, or 0 solutions? Good. So we're going to write therefore 1 solution. Does this make sense? So glad everyone thinks so. Was this example okay? Okay, now what you could do is if you wanted to check your work, you could use the quadratic formula and you could solve it using the quadratic formula. I'm only going to do this for example number 1. For examples 2 and 3, you can try it yourself. But let's go ahead and use the quadratic formula and see what we get. So x is equal to negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And we're going to get negative 12 plus or minus 12 squared minus 4 times negative 4 times negative 9, all over 2 times negative 4. And then negative 12 plus or minus. This is going to be 144 minus 144. So we already solved that here. It's just going to be over 0 and negative 8. So when I look at the two scenarios here, I am going to get x is equal to negative 12 over negative 8. I guess I'll write all of it, which is just going to give me a 6 over 4, 3 over 2. And even if you look at the negative version of this, you're going to still get the same answer because there is nothing after the plus or minus sign, right? It's just a 0. So in either scenario, your x is going to be equal to 3 over 2. And that is the one solution to this. So the discriminant is helpful in telling us how many solutions there are, but it doesn't tell you what the actual solution is. If you want to know the exact solution, you have to try to factor it or use the quadratic formula or complete the square. Any questions about this? No. Are we enjoying it? This is going to, yesterday's lesson and today's lesson are the only two topics that are going to be on the quiz on Friday. That's it. No, not including what we're doing tomorrow. Tomorrow we're learning inverse, but that's not going to be on the quiz. No, it's part of the same unit, I think. Are you using inverse of quadratics or inverse of every single thing? Inverse of and of quadratics. Yeah. All right, question number 2. I'm going to rearrange this. So it is 2x squared minus 11x plus 5. Don't forget to rearrange. I'm going to note down my a value is a 2, my b value is negative 11, and my c value is positive 5. I'm going to use a discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. So it'll be negative 11 squared minus 4 times 2 times 5. 121 minus 80. And this is going to give me a 41. No, sorry. 20, this is 40, and this is 81. Did you guys get 81 as well? Okay, so b squared minus 4ac gives you a value greater than 0. How many solutions are there? Good, so therefore 2 solutions. You could actually factor this and figure out the solutions. So if we were to factor 2x squared minus 11x plus 5, could we have factored the other one? We could have actually factored the other one as well. But we just wanted some practice using the quadratic formula. So 2x and x and a 5 and a 1, negative and negative. So your 2 values for x are going to be x is equal to a half and x is equal to 5. Last question. All right, for the last question, once again, let's rearrange it. So it's going to be 0 is equal to 8x squared minus 2x plus 6. Your a value is 8, b value is negative 2, and your c value is 6. B squared minus 4ac. You're so grumpy when you're sick. Negative 2 squared minus 4 times 8 times 6. 4. Because you're taking the joy of the question before anyone's even tried it.
If it's a positive,
you can see the pattern.
You don't even need to. You just compare A and C.
Yeah, you could. You're right.
Oh my God. Like if C is up and then A.
Yeah, I hear you.
Up, then yeah,
did we get negative 188? If b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, how many solutions are there? Therefore, no solutions or 0 solutions. And if you were to put this into your into the quadratic formula, you would basically get no real roots. So you would get a negative square root sign and it would not work out. Okay, you very happy but delirious, like you're just you're sick. No, not at all. Let's do the last question. Question number 4. For the function, oh my gosh, look how cute this clip art is. I didn't even realize I put this in there, but it's so adorable. What was the reason? I don't know. Yeah, it does. For the function, f of x is equal to 2x squared minus kx plus 6. Determine the values of k that will give only 1, 0. So in this example, we recognize that your a value is a 2, your b value is negative k, and your c value is positive 6. And because we're only going to get 1, 0, it means our discriminant has to equal to 0, right? Because when there's only 1, 0, the discriminant is equal to 0. So we're basically just going to plug this into this equation. We're going to get negative k squared minus 4 times 2 times 6 is equal to 0. And we're going to solve this. So k squared minus 48 is equal to 0. K squared is equal to 48. K is just going to be equal to plus or minus root 48. And because we all remember the radicals unit, we can simplify this. What are 2 numbers that multiply to give you 48? Ooh, 16 root 3. And so you're going to get 4 root 3 as your final answer. And before you asked, do you have to simplify radicals? Yeah, we did a whole unit and dedicated a whole week of our lives to learn this. So definitely always simplify radicals when you get this question. Any questions about this? Okay, to recap, what is the discriminant used for? To figure out how many solutions there are, memorize those little rules. If you ever want to tell me what the actual solutions are, either factor it or use the quadratic formula. And for homework, you guys are going to do textbook work, which is page 185, numbers 1 to 4, and 6 to 11.
Like, I'm kind of confused with the statement.